They say tennis is glamorous, flashy outfits, million-dollar prize pots, Grand Slam trophies. But here's the truth, no one tells you being a tennis player often sucks. Really sucks. Not because they're not talented, not because they don't love the game, but because the sport, it grinds people down in silence. It breaks bodies, messes with minds, and makes you feel like you're playing alone in a world that only cares when you're winning. And when you're not, they scroll past you like you were never there. Imagine this, 5:45 a.m. The locker room's still cold. You've already done 1 hour of strength work. Now it's sprint drills, and then for hours on court, alone. No team to lean on, no bench to sit on. You're your own offense, defense, and worst critic. To the outside world, it's just a match. But to the player, every match is a career swing. Every loss feels like a public failure. And it happens in front of the cameras, in front of the brands, in front of everyone on Twitter who calls you overrated. This is for the tennis fans, for the kids who sleep next to their rackets, for the juniors grinding in academies while their parents work double shifts to pay for coaching, for those who still think Roger's grace, Rafa's fire, and Novak's will came easy. Let's talk real. Real like the junior who wins 40 matches in a row, but breaks down at 18 because the pressure gave him panic attacks he didn't understand. Real like the pro who made top 100 but couldn't he afford to bring a coach to the French Open. In tennis, if you don't win, you don't get paid. No league salary, no team backup. No union, no mental health leave. You win. Maybe $7,000 if you make it past qualifiers. Lose early. You're flying home and coach, alone with less than you spent getting there. The pressure of performance, it's like breathing underwater. And now, in 2025, it's worse. You're not just a player, you're a brand. Your ranking doesn't just get you into tournaments, it decides your sponsorships, your reach, your survival. Social media is the second court. Post your win, go viral, show weakness, get memmed. People forget you're a human before you're an athlete, that you bleed behind the baseline, that when your shoulder gives out or your wrist throbs, you still have to smile for the press conference. They don't talk about the surgeries, the cortisone shots, the nights icing your joints while everyone else is out living, the mental collapse after blowing a match point in front of a sold-out crowd. There's no hiding in tennis, no sub to call in, no timeouts, just you. One opponent, and your own thoughts screaming between every point. You want burnout. This sport invented it. Ask the 13-year-old who was called the next Serena and never touched a racket again by 17. Ask the guy stuck grinding futures tournaments in Turkey for $100 and a sore back. You train all year for moments, for slams, for shots to break through. The rest, endless travel, bad hotels, jet lag, no fanfare, no crowd, just clay dust and aching legs. And here's the twisted part, once you do make it, it gets lonelier. Now everyone's watching. Now you're the headline. You don't just have to win, you have to justify your existence. Think about the mental toll. Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, they said, "I need help." And the world gasped like they committed a crime. But they were just being human. That's why more players are talking now. About anxiety, about depression, about needing therapy more than a new racket. The mental health revolution in pro sports. It's hitting tennis hard because the sport hides the pain behind elegance, behind the white skirts and clean lines. And AI, it's here too. AI scouting, AI training loads, AI map simulations. They know how many RPMs are on your second serve before you do. But it can't tell you why you feel numb after another 6-3 loss. It can't fix a broken spirit. You ever seen a tennis player cry in the locker room? No cameras, no applause, just raw. That's the side no one shows. There was a kid once, from Eastern Europe, talented as hell, lived off potatoes and practice. Made the tour at 19, everyone called him the future. 2 years in, wrist injury, sponsors gone, coaches moved on. Now, he teaches lessons at a suburban club. People still ask, "Hey, didn't you used to play pro?" And he just nods. Because in tennis, the fall is quiet. The spotlight doesn't fade, it vanishes. Players don't get to be vulnerable. They're told to tough it out. But what does toughness mean when your mind is screaming and your heart is racing before you even pick up a racket? Now imagine scrolling Instagram, seeing someone half your age already lifting trophies, already on Netflix, already branded as the next big thing, and you're out here stringing your own rackets, praying for a wild card. People think tennis is country clubs and strawberries and cream, but they don't see the 16-hour travel days, the time zones, the months without family, the forced smiles for sponsors, the tiny injuries that add up, the loneliness of hotel rooms. And you want to know the cruelest part? Sometimes, the game stops loving you back. You give it your youth, your sweat, your body, and one day, your body says enough, and the game, it moves on. Fast. In 2025, tennis is evolving. More players speak out, more unions are pushing for fair pay. But still, if you're ranked outside the top 50, you're hustling. No physio, no entourage, just you, your backpack, and a phone full of match footage you're trying to learn from before your next first-round opponent. Even the wins feel fragile. You take a title, and 10 minutes later someone online says fluke. You beat a big name, and the comment section screams he wasn't trying, it's never enough. Never dot, and yet, they stay. They keep grinding, keep hoping. Because somewhere deep down, they remember the first time they held a racket, the first time they aced someone, the first time the crowd cheered for them. They chase that feeling, that moment, that sliver of glory, even when the rest of the world forgets how brutal the chase can be. But that's the thing about tennis, there's no room to hide. No teammate to pass to. No bench to sit on while you catch your breath. Just you, your racket, and the whole world watching. Even after pushing through pain, exhaustion, and pressure, the rewards don't always come. A promising junior star can grind for years and never break into the top 100. A single bad season can bury a career. Injuries, they're not just setbacks, they're often career-ending. Like team sports, tennis doesn't guarantee contracts or salaries. You earn only what you win. If you lose early, no paycheck. But you've still got to pay your coach, your physiotherapist, your nutritionist, and travel across the world again next week, hoping things go better. Imagine paying thousands just to keep failing in public, over and over. And let's talk about the loneliness, the silence between matches, the hotel rooms, the airports, the countless hours waiting not knowing if your sacrifices will pay off. Friends back home move on. Birthdays, holidays, weddings, you miss them all for a dream you might never reach. Now add social media to the mix. Fans expect access, constant updates, Instagram perfect images. You win, you're a hero, you lose. Suddenly, you're soft, washed, overrated. Trolls don't see the pain in your joints or the months of rehab, they just see a missed backhand and call you a fraud, and you can't escape it. You open your phone and see your face turn into memes, threads debating your worth, commenters saying you choked, like the trauma you carry isn't heavy enough already. Mental health in tennis has finally become a conversation, but for years, it was taboo. You were expected to suck it up, power through, be mentally tough. But here's the truth, even the toughest players break. Naomi Osaka, one of the most dominant players of her generation, she stepped away because the weight of it all, expectations, interviews, criticism, was suffocating. And she wasn't alone. Nick Kyrgios, for all his talent and bravado, admitted to struggling with depression and self-harm. His loud exterior masks something deeply human, something almost every player feels but few speak about. Because in tennis, vulnerability is seen as weakness, but it shouldn't be. It should be a sign of strength, of endurance, of humanity. Behind every polished post-match interview is someone who has been through hell, who is still battling demons we'll never see on center court, and the emotional whiplash. One day you're winning titles, the next you're packing your bags in silence. Tennis careers aren't just unpredictable, they're brutal. The margin between legend and forgotten is razor thin, and when it ends quietly. No farewell tour, no standing ovation, you just stop showing up. Maybe your ranking drops, maybe your sponsors disappear. One day you were on the road chasing dreams, the next, the phone stops ringing. It's a strange kind of heartbreak. You gave everything to the sport, your body, your mind, your youth, and when it's done, the silence hits harder than any defeat. But here's the paradox, tennis players keep going. They keep fighting because despite everything, the pain, the pressure, the public judgment, they love it. They love the feel of a clean backhand, the roar of a tight crowd, the thrill of a fifth set breaker under the lights. It's not about the fame or even the money. It's about chasing perfection, about proving something to the world, to themselves, even if no one's watching. Tennis is more than a sport. It's a test of character, of survival, of obsession. So, the next time you see a player miss a shot, lose a match, or break down in tears, remember what it took to get there. Because behind the sweet bands and highlight reels are people, real people, battling pressure you can't imagine, fighting for a dream that demands everything. And sometimes, the dream fights back. Smash that like button if you've ever rooted for the underdog. Which tennis moment gave you chills? Drop it in the comments, and hey, subscribe for more real, raw stories from the world behind the spotlight. Tomorrow's story, it's even crazier. Don't miss it.